Right, it's day 6, it's Saturday morning. I am here alone today. Davey's having the weekend off. Jen is having her eyebrows doing. Josh is not working on the weekend. Adam's hooked up with the new girl, so I think he's with her. And John currently is out getting the fascia and soffit, so we're going to try and get some of the roof on today. Like I said, John will probably arrive and then he'll jump on camera, so before that starts I'm going to get the roofing boards up onto the roof, get my gear out and see what I can get done, as well as filming at the same time. So I'm stood on my own talking to myself and hopefully you guys that are watching this. So I'm going to get the boards up now. I'll put it on time lapse, I'll throw the boards up and we'll go from there. Right, so it's 8:23. Like I say, Saturday morning. It's 1 degree. So my next issue is I'm going to use the old 30-minute glue, because the 5-minute glue seems to be elusive at this moment in time. It's 1 degree. The glue is quite stiff, as we did with the floor as well. It was stiff there as well. So what I'm going to do, boil a kettle. I'm going to stick my 5-minute glue in this tube I've got here. 30-minute glue, sorry, that's all we've got. Put that in there, put it with hot water, and then that should be sufficiently fluid enough to get this floor down. This roof down even, lost my words. So I've got the boards up on the roof there. What I'm going to do now is get the rest of the stuff up and see if I can get everything I need up in one hit, save me getting up and down. So what have I got up? Put my impactor up, I've got the hammer, I've got the lump hammer, I've got a couple of full batteries, I've got a block of wood to tap the boards into place, circular saw to cut the wood, and of course I've got my 5-minute glue set in my hot water there. I've got a couple of battens there, there to keep the boards that I'm going to cut off the glue when I cut them on top of the other boards, but I'll explain that. And then I've got a box of fixings, I've got some 6.3mm nails and a few screws in there as well, and of course I've got my boards up as well, so off we go. How quickly you forget what last year was like. So you can see there's ice on top of the roof joist, rafters rather. So what we'll have to do is just scrape that off with the back of the handsaw, simply because it's quite raised. I mean, it's 2 to 3mm in some places. So if I fix the boards on top of that, when that defrosts, which it will do in no time, it's then going to leave me with a little sort of gap in between my boards and my rafters, which I obviously don't want. So I'm just going to run the handsaw over that and scrape it off. The glue's come along nicely now. It's more than liquid. There we go, that's it. Sun's just rising, John's on his way. Got all my tools up, so I'll scrape this off and crack on now. Right, so as you can see, it's a bit of a ball ache on your own. Another problem what I've got now is the ice, so I'm just going to scrape that off. Obviously we don't want anything under the boards, we want the boards to sit down properly on this roof. It's also slippy as well now, so I need to be a bit more steady. Just when you get your first board down, when you're on your own, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, because you've obviously got all your stuff up on the roof. You're trying to balance and make sure you don't fall off. And then you're trying to video like an idiot as well. So here we go anyway. I'll get my first board down. Now, depending on which way the manufacturers manufactured these boards, you'll either start left or right, but I always prefer to start at the back. The camera's on a really crappy little tripod, so if it's bouncing around, you'll have to bear with me. Right inside down, yeah, generally says right inside down. It's generally so the building inspector can tell it's the correct board that's being used. So make sure it's in the right position. Where's my nails? There's my nails. I know my roof is pretty square and pretty straight. What I'm going to do first, I'm just going to pop a couple of screws in so that I know it's in the right position before I nail it, because once you've nailed it, obviously, it's more of a permanent thing, isn't it? Get that in the right position there. I'm good there. Yeah, so if you got it in the wrong position, obviously if you nailed it, you can't get it back out, can you? Disaster strikes. I've got a torque bit in the driver, and I don't think I've got a posi bit on me. Let's have a look. Another torque bit. Right, that's completely peed me off, right? But I'm not going back down. I'm going to nail it. I know it's right. What I would normally do is put a couple of screws in just to make sure my first row goes down right. So this is where the camera might fall over. I won't sink it all the way. And then if I do need to get it out, I can still get it out. I carry that much crap in my pockets. So thanks for all the concern about the finger. The finger is on the mend. It's not too bad now. Still trying to keep it out of the way though. Right, very much like, excuse me, very much like flooring the board in the floor, exactly the same. You want to mark up where your roof rafters are, because once you get your next board down, then you ain't going to be able to see where they are. So that's good. I'm happy. Do you know what? I'm happy with that. I'm going for that. I don't know how much that camera's shaking. Let me try and watch it now when I nail this. It's not too bad. Again, I'm going to make sure I've fully nailed this, because obviously you don't want the wind getting hold of this roof and tearing it up on you. John thinks I'm mad. Says I should have brought a nail gun today, but we're making good progress, so I'm going to carry on as I am. Right, I'll address the situation which I know people are going to ask me as well. I'm going to slag me off and stuff like that, but here we go. The board, it's more cost effective to have 400 spacings, yeah? So that's why we have 400 spacings. The board does not then fall on the timbers. Now, manufacturer's guide want you to drop it on the timbers, I do believe, but this roof is not going to get walked on after we've finished it anyway. So once that's glued, and then your next board's in there, and then your next board's in there, it all becomes one complete board. It's absolutely fine. Never had a problem with it. Never went through it. I'm 12.5 stone. At my heaviest, I'd imagine. John's slightly more, probably. We've all been up on this roof, 2, 3 people, 4 people at the same time. Never had a problem. So I'm happy with that. It's just going to fly over. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to measure my next board, make sure it's square, which it is, and the roof's square anyway, so we've not got a problem there. And then I'm going to cut it up here. What you need to do, remember, is which way your boards are going. So obviously that's the tongue there. So I'm going to measure from groove side to go over there. Like I say, till John gets here, the camera work is going to be pretty shoddy. Just put that there now. Move the 5-minute glue applicator. Throw that down now. I don't need that. Get rid of that water off there. Right, so where are we? Forgotten my measurement. I am going to babble a bit because there's people watching me out of a window and I feel pretty stupid talking to myself up on the roof. Obviously they do not know what the hell is going on. Right. So there's my board. I'm going to get my measurement. Let me move that saw out of the way and you might be able to see a bit better as well. Doesn't need to be super accurate, this measurement, simply because we're obviously going to put the fascia up against it, so the fascia will provide the final perimeter. I'm still struggling with this finger not working properly. Right, I don't want to cut through my other board, but at the same time I want to make sure I cut through this. I'm going to set my blade to the correct depth, which of course is vital. Done. I'm now going to get one of these battens just to throw under there and protect the board below. There we go. I'll cut through that now and it'll be fine. Sped up at the end there just because I knew it were going to fall and I didn't want it to snap. So that board now, let me move that for you, we'll go over onto there. Are we right? Yeah, we're right. Right, another issue I possibly may have is the manufacturer of these boards. I've noticed that they've got two different types of writing on, which could be a possible indication they're two different types of boards, which will really pee me off no end. Right, so what's going to happen now? We're going to have a look at this glue. It feels quite fluid. I'm going to watch now that I don't cut this and it spurt out everywhere because it feels quite warm. Yep. Ooh, there we go, straight in the face. Should have known that was going to happen. Right, won't wipe that off, it'll go out and a bit of pick it off. You can see what's happened there. Obviously the glue's got really warm and expanded, and then when I've cut it, it's obviously released the pressure and shot in my face. So, it's a face full for me. Right, what I'll do, I'll probably drop from my phone to camera, just so that I'm not moving that one around a lot. Right, so there's my other board, there's the joint. What I'm going to do now, I know it fits, I know it's going to be in line like that, it's nice. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to push it apart and then get the 5-minute glue, which is now spurted everywhere. And I'm going to, there we go, look how liquefied that is. That's lovely, that actually is nice to work with. Pop that back on the saw to keep the glue off the board. And now I'm going to just push this together. I'll have to put the camera down. Right, I'll get it in line where I want it. It's actually pushed together really nice as that. They don't often. So what I'll do now, I'll get some nails in there. Like that. Make sure my joint is good, which it is there. That's not going nowhere. Get that nailed up. And I won't forget to mark where my timbers are for when my next board goes down and it's visible then. Okay, so that's it. What's going to happen then is, let me just show you. John will be here soon, don't worry. Camera work will return to normal. Right, what's going to happen then is that board there, that's the offcut of this board. That board will then go there and we'll work his way to the end of the roof. I'm also doing as well, you'll notice there I'm over the glue now, but what I'm going to do is make sure I'm conscious constantly of where the glue lines are, because what I don't want is to trail that glue all over the roof, because it's going to make the cleanup a lot harder. So just watch where you're kneeling, watch where you're walking, and of course be careful up on the roof. So the sun is starting to come up now, which is also an issue. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to move everything onto the board that is already nailed, and then that way I can freely move around, move all my stuff about and work without, oh, I've just put my fingers in glue. That's brilliant, look. that stuff does not come off. That'll be a black finger tonight now. Right, I'm just going to pop that there. Move my camera, because of course it's on the board that I need. My saw, because I've still got some ice on here. Although the sun's coming up now, it will defrost that quite quickly. But I just need to get the bigger lumps off. There we go, that's going to go in there lovely. My glue and my hammer. These boards are sliding together really well. Different manufacturers, different boards and all that. But this one's quite a nice one, so I'm happy with these. I've yet to see the other board. Davey tells me there's 2 types of boards, so that could be an issue for us. We'll see. Yeah, it's gone together lovely, that. Sometimes you've got to bray them to get them to go in, but these are actually sliding together lovely. So what I'll do, I'm looking for my mark there. Pull that board tight. Just drop back onto my camera then, and you can see. So right, so my board there, it's gone in obviously. That's my first board. I haven't marked there, so I've nailed there. I've also nailed there, but I haven't nailed there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to nail them and stitch that one on, not to forget to nail these down. And then I'll carry on with them there and mark them up, obviously, where the joists are, so that I can nail them and I'll know where they're nailing. That's the setup this morning. Right, so I'll probably pop you over there now, stick you on a bit of time lapse and see if I can get this roof boarded. Right, the reason why I brought up these battens is because I don't want to be getting up and down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these battens in between the glue lines like that. And then what that will enable me to do is put my pile of boards on there without laying them in that glue, because obviously that's not what we want. They get glue all over boards, transfer it all over the place, and we've then got a bigger clean-up job than what we needed to have. So them battens there will just keep this board high enough off the glue and won't spread it around. So what I'm trying to do, I've been down once for a cup of coffee. So far I've not had to go down for what else. The reason why I've got so many boards up here is a lot of these boards have come from a previous job. Of course I've ordered the boards for this job what I normally would, but as we go from job to job, variations in sizes from start to finish, we sometimes have bits and bobs of materials left over, and of course at the cost of them they're too expensive to throw away, so they will come to the next job and so on. So I've only got a few more to put down on there. Key thing I think is nice and steady. You're up on the roof, take your time, don't fall off. Right, so there's it, all fully boarded now. What I'm going to do now, John's just arrived with all the Soffit and Fascias and stuff like that. There he is, look. I'm going to let this glue go off now, get my stuff down from the roof. We're going to start doing the fascia and Soffit, We won't be actually putting the rubber on today. We're just going to cover it up with some visqueen. Right, so I've got the roof boarded now. You can see there now I'm left with this bigger section of timber. So what we did yesterday, we ripped that down. So we've increased obviously that 5x2 to an 8x2 like the 8x2 on the side there, and I've also put a piece in there now. I'm going to put my soffit on left to right, so what I need to do now is infill these bits as well, which I've already cut. And just ripped them down out of bits of offcuts of that we had left over. Still struggling with this finger. So they're going to go on like that. Two screws will be more than sufficient for that. And what I'll do now, I'm going to put them all the way along there, and then we're going to work out how we're going to get this soffit up in one piece without scratching it. I've got the soffit. John picked the soffit up this morning. What size was it in the end, John? 225 or 250? 250. Right, so I've got 250 soffit. It's a full replacement board, so it will actually stick up, but then I'm going to obviously trim it down because John just backs off over there. I'll be able to see this roof, and no, over there, John. You'll be able to see this roof. So if you'd have put fairings on your roof, you'd have had a similar shape to this anyway. But what we normally do is just have a 5x2 and tilt it back. But because we've got a cement board on here, I want a parallel cut to make our life a lot easier. So we've created this wedge shape like you seen me do yesterday. But like I say, that 225 will stick right up at the back there, but I'm going to obviously trim that down once I've got it on. So what I'll do now, I'll put you back on time lapse a little bit, and you'll see me put these on then. Okay, so what I want to do now, I've obviously increased the size of them, so it'll take the fascia. So the fascia's over here. It's a ribbed soffit fascia. It's quite flexible, so it's quite a little bit of a problem to get that up on your own. So what I've created is these little supports. So it's just a bit of slate batten. The top there is a lot longer than the bottom part, and what will happen then, that will sit on the roof like that. The weight of that should hold that, and then I'll be able to put my fascia on there, and that'll hold it. It'll hold it off there, but obviously when I go along, I'll be able to lift it up and nail it to these. I've also marked the steel there where the centre of the timber is for clarity, so that I know where to nail. Right, what I'm going to bring it over. I'll get my trestles ready so that I've got a little bit of a helping hand there and ready. Right, so here we go. See how this works. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold that one up there like that. I know my length is good. Let's stick that on there like that. Pop that one on there like that. Step across to here and get that one up there. So that's worked quite well for me. I'm pleased with that. It's actually holding it in position now. Obviously the top slate lap being longer than the rest, it's sort of cantilevering under its own weight, so it's in a good position there now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to find myself some little poly top nails and we'll crack on with that. Right, so I'm going to fix these by the means. Where's the camera? There it is. The little poly top nails, they're ring cut, they're stainless steel, and they're colour coded, of course, black. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get this into the position I want it. I know it's good there, and I'm going to make sure that we're running parallel down the building. I can see my timber, which is there. So what I'm going to do is pull that out to meet it, and see if I can get a couple of fixings in there. Again, it's incredibly difficult to hold the nail with the finger that's not working, but I should have known because there is a guy on Instagram that I follow, I think, and he's building the garden room and he's only got one arm. So kudos to you, my friend. I'm a finger down and I'm struggling. I'm just going to make sure now that this fascia, this soffit rather, is in the right position, which it is. I'm happy with that. Just going to pop a nail in there just to keep that in the position I want it, just to stop it moving. Because obviously you don't want it kicking in or out. That'll cause us no end of problems. When I've got a few nails in here, I'll drop back and I'll show you exactly where I'm nailing and what I'm doing. So that one can come off now, that works a treat. Happy with that. What I'll do, I'll get 2 nails in the end as well. Don't know if you can quite see the end. Let's have a look. There we go. All right for you? Yeah. I'm going to get 2 nails in the end, and then when I multi-tool, well no, I won't be multi-tooling off, I'm hand sawing off water. When I hand saw it off, you'll be able to see that the strength in there, because I've nailed it, stops it from smashing and breaking when I hand saw it. I'm waffling today, aren't I? Sorry about that. So there, that's fixed, I'm happy with that. We're looking good. These little props I've made worked a treat, again. So that's the little third hand I've created, basically. There'll be a lot of third hands on this job. Piece of slate, like the long piece there, counterbalances it and stops it from dropping off the roof, and that bit there obviously holds the fascia. They're in, that's all nailed up, I'm pleased with that now. So it's quite easy to do on your own. What we're going to do now, we're going to address the sides. We used 100mm Soffit on that, but I'll let John jump on the camera and you might get some better footage than what I'm actually giving you. Right, what I need to do now, I need to cut off this overhang here. I don't want to spoil it by just not letting you see all the footage, so I'm going to explain something what I need to do there as well. I'm going to cut it off with a handsaw because we're all about using no power tools, or as little as possible anyway. And what you need to do is keep your saw low like that, rather than like that, because it will just shatter. You need to keep it low at an angle like that. Let me see if I can show you. So like that rather than like that. If it's like that, it's going to shatter like that. And I'm using the wood there as a guide. I'm just going to put the camera down, so if I don't hold that with another hand it will break. There we go, sorry about the footage today. Davey's having the weekend off, like I said. So what I don't want is it to break at lastminute.com, which it hasn't, but I've cut it like a dog look there. So what I'm going to do is just tidy that up. It's quite brittle, this, so you need to be careful. I've actually got an offcut as well of fascia there, because I'm going to need that in a minute, but I'm just making sure in that any damage that occurs to it is still concealed by what you could do with is a saw with a finer tooth on it, but you know, we're trying to keep the budget down. So I'm looking at that now. When that fascia goes on there, it's absolutely lovely. Really happy with that. So what's next? Now I'm going to put 100mm Soffit all the way down there, sorry, and we need to join the Soffit to that. So what you join it with is a piece of this H trim, again colour coded. So what will happen is that'll sit on like that. My front Soffit will sit in there, and my side one will sit in that gap there. So that slides on there just like that. But what we've found you need to do, and I'll get John to come with camera and show you, we need to put a piece of that on, because if you put that right to the edge, which it is there, it holds the fascia down, which is not what you want really. So we're going to put a piece of that on, we're going to slide it up to where it needs to meet it, and then when that goes on it will conceal that. So that's good, that's ready to go there. There's my little dummy bit of fascia. I'm going to measure this now, and I measure it 100mm longer than what I need it, just so that I can cut it off afterwards, because it's crazy to measure it tight and find out you're a little bit wrong. Fascia in Soffit normally comes in 5 metre lengths. which is what you want. I know sometimes when you buy it online it comes in a lot shorter lengths, which is a bit of a pain really. Excuse me. I'm just going to hook my tape on there. It's measuring approximately 3/440, so I'm going to make it 3.5. I've got plenty of length on there. Again, I'm just going to cut this with a handsaw. It's really, really flexible. So that's why these little supports I've made are going to come into play. It's also got a protective coat on it, which I'm just going to peel off, because at the end of the day it does need to come off, and what you don't want to do is nail it and then having to peel it off and your nails have held it in. So again, I'm going to fix that with poly tops now. A little bit of a difference here, and what we need to do is take the head off the poly top, which I'm going to show you how to do now. So there's your poly top. I'm going to nail it. I'm going to nail it to the outside of the timber, which then the fascia is going to, the lip on the fascia will cover the nail. But of course, that poly top there is going to hold my fascia down. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put it in between the claw of the hammer like that, and try and pull it off. There we go. And this, it's got a really flat head now. So when I nail that up, the fascia lip will cover that. So what I'll do, I'll prep a load of them nails. John might be back then, and then we'll get on the camera and give you a better look at what's going on. So I know I've gave you loads of detail, and all of a sudden it's Saturday, I'm on my own and the camera works crap. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to try it with my right hand because I'm still struggling. There we go. Still struggling with not having that finger working properly. The issue with this is it's super flexible. I've got myself 3 props though, so I'm good with that. But let's see how we go anyway. Again, what I think I'll do, I'll start in the middle and it should be able to work it from there, to be honest with you. John's just pulled up now, so well there you go. I mean, you can see it's actually holding it quite nicely, not a problem at all. There you go, so it's held. I can work with that, no problem. I put my H trim on now. You find your H trim quite tight on that 100, but quite sloppy on that, so you will be able to move that one to suit. He's there now, is John. There were 300 long first, John. Yeah. You know, to carry that, yeah. And now I've trimmed them down to 100. But because you see the length there, yeah, so it doesn't fall off the roof, look.
Yeah, so it's just counterbalanced.
Perfect.
It's only got to be sat there, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's it, John. Do you know what I mean? So what I've done, I've just lifted it up like that, put one in the middle, stepped over here, put one up, stepped over there, put one up. Isn't it? Good man. Full breath. Church Fenton.
Yeah, right down there. Yeah. It's not actually that far, but it's 30 miles, you're on a 60 mile an hour road.
Yeah.
I got a large one, she went, another large one.
So, John's currently mocking me there because I put quite a bit of weight on. I've weighed myself. I'm 12 stone 4. He's mocking me, so I'm going to stop now. I'm going to have breakfast, give him a few slaps, sort him out, and then we'll crack on with build. He's brought me a Diet Coke, which will help matters no end. All right, so that's how we've got that on. We've also used the little brackets there that I've made to hold that on. Now you can see what I'm on about if John just comes here. He's just there, John, mate. So you've got these little fascia jointing strips. Now if I put that there, can you see it's holding it down, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is not what we want. So what you want is just cut yourself a little piece off and just slide it back. So what you want is to get them so they butt up to that. So when that fascia's on, that will butt up to it like that, and it won't actually hold it down there, which can cause you a problem. Now you can see that's going to conceal all that, so that's nice. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to carry on and go around the other side. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to film that simply because there's no way to get the camera in and that, so I'm doing exactly the same. I'm running that 100mm fascia all the way around the building, right around the other side, and return it there, and everywhere it joins, I will use a piece of this H trim. Again, took the tops off the nails. Can you see that all right? Yeah. Took the tops off the nails. I'm fixing them there. Look, can you see where I fixed it, John? Yeah, and then that fascia then will cover that nail. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm not going to throw these props away because we're going to use these reversed. What I'll do then, I'll fix them to there like that. I'll put my fascia, sat my fascia on there, and it'll give me a third hand again. So I'm going to save them. After I've finished using them all the way around this building. Right, I've cut this bit of fascia. It's slightly longer than what I need it, and because I don't want to be making it bang on the right measurement, and when I hold it up, I'll find that I put it in the wrong position. So this is how we're going to nail this. That's your poly top. I'm going to start there. I'm going to sit the poly top on the end there, look like that. I'm then going to stand it upright and just send it in like that, but not all the way, just to hold it. And I'm going to use my hammer there as a spacing. Again, the poly top's butted on there, stand it up, and that's the length and the height of the nails then. And what you'll find then is they're all uniform, and when you look at them from down below, they'll look nice, in line, and they're all the right height. For those of you with OCD, and you'll go, well, you want to space them out the same as your curb trim? Well, the holes on the curb trim aren't as regular as these, so they wouldn't line up anyway. So this is absolutely perfect the way we're doing this. So what we're going to do, John's literally, he's sat on the fence now, perched on the fence trying to film this. He's going to go around the front in a minute. I'm going to start at the front because if I start in the middle of the front, I can then hold it myself. So that'll be fine. And on the side, we're going to revert back to using them props, like I said. So they're all semi-nailed up. I've not took that plastic off yet. What I'll do, I'll get it held up. I'll show you how I'm going to hold it up. I'll drive the nails in a bit, and then what I'll do then, I'll take the plastic off, because if you take the plastic off now, you've got a chance of damaging it, and if you drive them all the way in, the plastic will catch on there and it's a nightmare to get off. So John's going to get round the front now, and I'll show you how I'm going to fix this. So there's my fascia. Right, what you need to be careful is OSB is a slippy board basically, and you don't want to pull yourself off at roof because that will end up in a bad day. So I've hung it over there. I'm hanging over both sides, so I'm happy with that now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lower it down. I'm going to catch it under there, and I'm going to get that nail in there like that. So if I let go of that, that'll pivot and swing off. So I'm going to just go along there. I'm just feeling under there and feel my fascia, and that's good. So I'm actually pulling it up. What you want to do now, I suppose, is, I've got them in a little bit like that, is get yourself down off the roof, go have a look at it and see if it's in the right position. But from experience I can tell it certainly feels like it is, and John's going to give me a nod now as to whether or not it is or not. How are we looking, John? So John's just give us a nod, he says it looks good. So if I was on my own now, I'd go down and have a look at it and jump back up on the roof now. Right, so now I've got it held, I'm going to pull that off, and I'm going to stop talking because I've got this habit of when I talk I miss a nail, and we don't want to bruise the fascia. So what I'll do, I'll go all the way down there now. Again, just be careful, you're up on a roof. You don't want to fall off and end up in hospital. Right, so that's that done. If John goes to that in there, you can see that it's overhanging. You see that all right, John? So what you need to do now is trim that off. Again, what I'd be doing is trimming the bottom first. If you start at the top, sometimes the weight of it will snap off, and it'll snap off where you don't want it, and you'll be able to see it. Just using the edge of the building as a guide. So that's nice. So obviously it's too high, and it's going to be a lot higher at the bottom. But I'm going to show you how to cut that off. The next issue now is, imagine this is a full piece of fascia. We slide along there like that. It now hits that. You see that, John? It's now hitting that. So we've now got to create a little notch so that that will slide all the way up to there, but obviously be the same level as that. I'm going to show you how to do that now. So before I get down, I'm going to measure my roof. I'm going to cut it at 3.9 and leave myself some hanging over there, because we don't, you know, if I cut it at 3.9 and I mess this up, then I've got another try and another try before I'm risking getting to the end of that board there. So I'll jump down now. What do I need down there, John? Handsaw, piece of fascia. John's calling for multi-tool, nail gun and chop saw, but obviously for those that have been watching day by day, you know that ain't happening. Right, I'll jump down and get right. So I'm going to cut my board. It's longer than what I need. If I start cutting there, what's going to happen then? If I don't grip it properly, it can break, and it can send the break that way, which obviously you're going to be able to see. So what you want to do is cut through the lip first. Again, keeping your saw low, rather than like that, nice and low. You see, right there, prime example. You see how it's broke there, look? Yeah, what you don't want is that break at the bottom, because that corner trim may not cover your break. Right, okay, I'm going to show you how to join them now. I'll just get a corner. Right, so as I showed you up on the roof, when they're butt together, imagine this is the front fascia, yeah? So it's butting up to there, look, but we've got a gap there, which is not what we want. So what we're going to do is, imagine that's the front one, we want that to finish there. So I'm going to mark that like that. Yep. And then where that is in line there, can you see that, John? Yep. I'm going to transfer that mark onto there. Can you actually see that or not? You can, yeah. Right, so I'd normally go for multi-tool now, but obviously we're not using that. So what's going to happen now is we push that way. Ooh. I'm going to get my saw right to the point and then return it like that. Which it has done. Roll it up. It's a bit hard to work with this bigger one. Right, so that's come off nice. Right, so let's get my little piece again. So imagine this is the front. Your side is butted up to the front like that now, because we've now notched that out. And then the corner will sit over that and conceal everything. And that's the finish you want then. Okay, right, so I've shortened my props there. There were 300 before, but I've made them about 100 now. And that was great for putting the soffit on, but we're going the opposite way around now. So it's important that I get this joint correct, but I need somebody to hold this for me, but I'm on my own. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this like that. I'm just going to, there, look, can you see, John? So I'm going to drop it a bit lower than that, and when I sit my fascia on there, there'll be like a third hand there, so that's good. So what I've done is just literally reverse these props I've made. Let's get a screw in there. And what I'll do is I'll put 3 up, because it's expensive this, and you know, you don't want to damage it. Quite a bit of money. And you don't want to scratch it either. So where's my third one? So these there, these will be for sale on my website. We might get some 3D printed ones up. So you can see now, what I'm starting to do is create myself a third hand. So like I say, that joint down there, that's the important one. Right, next thing now, I want to get this up on the roof. That's the way it's going to go up, like that. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to offer that up there like that. I'm going to put that there like that. And there, that's my third hand. But obviously I need to put some nails in there, so I'll just pop that up onto the roof, right side down. It's not going to damage it. Happy with that. I'll jump up on the roof, and then what we'll do then is, once I've got this piece on, obviously we're a bit tight round sides here, so I can't actually show you filming it, but I'll get the other two sides on, and then we'll jump up. I'll get John up onto the roof, and I'll show you how I'm going to trim this down to the correct height. So once again, I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did before. It's a bit hard for John. John can't see there now, can you? It doesn't matter anyway, you know what I'm doing, you've seen me do it. Get my nails, get them started, get them spaced, and off we go. Down the fascia. Right, so there's my corner. Right, what I don't want to do is drop it. I've got my props there. They're not the strongest props, but they'll certainly hold this. I'm just going to lower that down there onto gently. I hope so. Lower that down gently. Slide it into such place. What I've noticed now. There we go. You know that I'm doing warts and all on this, so it's as it is. I've just noticed now that I've got some glue sticking off. Now, you need to get rid of the glue for the simple reason that it will hold the fascia off. There we go, that's gone. I'm not going to put the rubber on today, that's going to be a job for Monday. It is Saturday. I want to get off. Right, so lower that down onto there gently. I'm going to bring that up to there like that. Yeah, I'm happy that I can feel that's tight. John's going to give me the nod. Yep, happy with that. Again, I'm actually pulling the fascia up to the soffit, so it's up nice and tight. Again, just getting them in a little bit of the way. Got them all in where I want them. Happy with that. Props have worked a treat. Get my plastic off. I literally cannot talk when I'm nailing these in because I miss constantly. A bit harder, that's probably a knot. So there is my fascia up, one-handed. John's going to have a look down there now. You can see there the lip of the fascia is completely concealed. All the nails, it's up tight, it's a nice finish. Them props have come in a little treat as well. What I'm going to ask John to do now is climb up on this roof, and I'll show you how I'm going to cut this fascia down to the right height. I'm going to show you how we can trim this down, because obviously the roof's pitching down, that's on level, so it's big all round. You can see at the front there it's big as well. So I'm going to show you how to cut this down, but the saw, it's got a few uses as well. Look, once your glue's gone off there, you can scrape your glue off. It's important that this roof is prepped properly, so I will be getting a sander out, a little palm sander out to sand it, because I ain't doing that by hand, that's crazy. Right, so what you want to do is get the saw on the floor like that, and you're just using the roof structure there as my guide, and I'll just cut that off and show you. There you go. So that's now level with the roof, which is what you want. So it's a bit of ball work, like, I suppose, but you're going to go all the way around now and trim them off. And then your fascia there will be the height of your roof, so that'll be ready for rubber roofing then. So I'm going to carry on now, crack on with this, and then just before we go, we'll talk about the tools we've used, and we'll call it a day at that. Like I say, if you just get the back of your saw, just drag it along there. Get rid of all burrs on edge. Drop anything catching on your rubber. So there you go. That's your roof boarded, your fascia, your soffit. I'm going to clean this glue up. Like I say, back at saw. There we go. Comes off nice and easy. I'll get all that cleaned off, I'll give it a brush off, and then we'll get some visqueen over it ready for the rubber on Monday. That's my soffit, my fascia and my roof boarded. I'll talk about tools in a minute. So we've got all that on, we'll drop our spotlights in there. You can see it's a nice tidy finish. We obviously need to put us corners on, but we're going to do that when we do his rubber roof. And we're also going to tuck some insulation up these gaps, so the insulation will sit on top of the wall then, so we can be fully insulated. So Monday we're going to get the rubber on, we'll finish the roof, and then we're going to start first fix electrics. Right, tools what we've used today. So we've used both hammers, lump hammer and framing hammer. It doesn't need to be a framing hammer, but don't forget I'm giving all that away, all the ox stuff, giving it away. We've used the impact driver, we've used the circular saw once again, it's doing the vast majority of the work on here. Speed square, and I think that is it, John, is that it? That's it, isn't it? Obviously trestles and what have you, well, you know, if you're going to get, they're worth it, they're about 25-30 quid a piece. A pair of them will see you right for a job, and like I say, you can get rid of them on Marketplace if you find they're no good to you after that. So that's day 6. Day 6 is complete now. Keep watching, please liking and subscribing, and don't forget, if you leave comments, I'll try and answer them like I always do. So thanks very much, and I'll see you Monday, which will be day 7. I'm well on the way now. Thanks very much, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you Monday.